All right, so I am with Katie Sutton. She is the founder of Zen Within Academy, and I'm so excited to have you here. We're going to talk a lot about our cosmic guidance ritual kit, but first, I thought let's start with you introducing yourself and telling everybody a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, thank you, Abby. I'm really happy to be here. So, I am the founder of Zen Within Academy. I'm an intuitive channel and a healer and an energy medicine teacher. And I've been doing work in the spiritual realm for a long time, but really earnestly since 2012. And this is my daily thing. This is what I do full time, is being in my intuition and connecting with my guides and supporting other people. And I really want to share what my experience has been in working with your ritual kit.
Awesome. What do you think it was for you that, when I brought it up, what was it that made you go, "Oh, maybe I should try that"?
So I'm super intuitive. I'm always working with oracle cards and doing, little mini rituals for myself. But what I was struggling with, when I came out of the corporate space and went into the spiritual world, I went very into my feminine. And I was having a hard time with routine and structure. And so when you mentioned your kit, what the intuitive hit that I got was, this is going to create some structure for you in the way that you've created it in the workbook, to help me kind of commit to doing something as a daily practice at the same time every day. And what I've noticed when I make those commitments is that my whole being starts to look forward to it, and it becomes this kind of act of self-love and self-care. And so it was great for me to have somebody that I could call on to say, "Hey, give me a tool so that I can do something for me," because I'm always doing so much for other people. And so that's really what attracted me to your kit.
Oh, I love that. So when you got it, you and I didn't talk much about it. Like, I think you had maybe seen it. So when you got it, did you feel like it had a good explanation for you? Because I feel like there's some people who get it and they're, not they're just babies that trying to understand their intuition and how to work with it. And you're one of the people who I'm like, she's off the charts intuitive. Did you feel like it was pretty explanatory, easy
Yeah.
to follow?
Yeah, what I really appreciated in your workbook was your personal story. And there were things in there. I mean, I've known you for a long time, but there were things in there that I didn't know. So that was wonderful to read.
Yeah.
And then just your explanations of how to use the pendulum and how to work with your team and how to tap in, and just reminders about how to get out of this place that sometimes we get into, even as intuitive people, of doubt.
Yeah.
And I really appreciated like the structure and form that you brought in and the stories that you told. And I was reading it also with a beginner's eye in mind, because I teach a lot of beginners as well, and thinking, oh, these are the people that I would like to recommend this to, that come to me and say, "Hey, I want to build my intuition. I want to build my connection." Because in my personal experience, the more time you're inward and quiet and sitting with yourself in a process, that's really how you get into your intuition, right? There's all these things that I teach that you teach, but it's really about dedicating that time. And so I really appreciated the structure and form that you created. And then you also, because it's also free form, there's space for me to journal, which has never been one of my things in this lifetime, I'll be honest. But it's the prompts that you gave made it easier for me. And some days I write a lot and sometimes I don't. But everything was very carefully crafted, I could tell, to support me as somebody who is either, really advanced in my case, or also as the beginner.
Awesome. I'm curious because we've not talked about it, like, right, we've not compared stories. And like, sometimes I'll go back and I start looking at my confirmations. There's a section in there, that says, like, you ask for help, and then I will start going back. And when I first started it now, a year or so ago, like, it would take 2 to 3 months, or 2 to 3 weeks. Now I'm like 2 to 3 days. Like, have you been working with that practice of, like, looking for, like, oh wow, they really are showing up and helping me?
Absolutely. I think that, one of my challenges in this lifetime has been asking for help, even from my team, my guides. Forget about asking for help from people in the physical, right? That's a whole other hurdle, right? But
Yeah.
I think that that prompt being in there of like, what do you need support on today? And what are you asking for, has really been great for me. And I mean, I feel like my stuff comes in within a couple of days, sometimes within the same day, even if it's just a gentle nudge of this is what you need to research or this is what you need to listen to.
Yeah.
And, I tend to make my requests sometimes very specific because I'm really in a struggle place with something, and sometimes very open ended of just like, help me to be at peace today, help me to bring through what's most necessary for my clients because I'm in session all day. And so that's been really helpful too, is just to be able to ask for general support if there's nothing specific going on, and tracking how my day flows and noticing what happens.
I love that. Yeah, that's for me, like just it's the process of just asking. Like I think, so many times, and when you make the time to ask, and when you make the time to then receive the guidance, that's what it was about, which is like, on the left side it was asking, and the right side it was receiving. And so as you receive it and pull the cards, and I end up pulling, I don't know, do you pull more than three? Do you pull less?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have nearly as many Oracle decks as you do, but I have probably 20. And I don't know if you can see behind me, but that's my meditation recliner back there because I'm getting old and I can't sit on the floor anymore. And
Oh,
I set up a little table beside it with all of my Oracle decks, and it's like my little station.
yeah.
So that in the morning, I sit down in the recliner with my cup of tea and I do my process, and I just pick whatever deck. Sometimes I do more than one deck. Sometimes it's just a single card. Sometimes it's three cards. It's kind of whatever I'm feeling.
Yeah.
And what I like about Oracle cards is that they kind of confirm what you might already know intuitively in your being, but you're afraid to say or afraid to look at. And so sometimes it's a real wallop day, meaning that I get something, get a little blindsided. I'm like, ooh, I need to really sit with this. And other days it's just a gentle confirmation. And so I find that Oracle cards kind of always meet you where you are. And so having that process has been super helpful for me too.
I love it. I love it. Is there any other things that you would add? I feel like, when people are going through it, you can have the option of just doing the workbook or the kit. Is there anything like that you feel like would help people as they're going through the process of using this in their daily practice?
Yeah, well, there's two other things. So the section that you have in your workbook of what is your body saying, I'm so really glad that you included that. That has been a journey for me in this lifetime. And I love having that in there because, intuition is great and knowledge is great and wisdom is great, but we actually have to embody it in the physical.
Yeah.
And so I really appreciated that connection. That was super important for me. And the other thing that I'll say is that I know that I'm going to order a workbook to use next year, right? Like I want this to be a continual thing, but I'm really glad that I got the kit because number one, just opening it and the way you packaged it, like you feel really special to open it up. But all of the things, I really want to speak to the pendulum and the pendulum board, especially because this is something that I have used in the past and I have other pendulums, but I really like this one. It is so well balanced and it feels really good. I can tell you charged it up before you sent it. And I never worked with a pendulum board before. And this has been a great thing to add in. And to have. And I often end up working with the pendulum when I'm dealing with stuff with my body because I'm learning to have that conversation with my body, and the pendulum is helpful for me to do that. So I think everything that you included in the kit, the little card holder, everything is great. And I would highly recommend just going in and getting the whole kit. And then every year you can re-up with a new workbook and continue the process.
I love that, Katie. I'm so grateful because Katie's been one of my teachers. And so to be able to share this with you and to, especially the body part too, I had actually, we hadn't had that conversation because that helped me every day checking in of like what are you saying to me, how are you feeling today, and realizing that my body was talking to me just as much as my guides were, and being in relationship with that. So I'm glad you remembered to bring that up. So
Yeah, and
um,
I'm really excited for people to get to know your work. I mean, you've been one of my students, you've been my friend for a long time, and I've watched you blossom into this and like step into your power and remember all these things that you've done in other lifetimes and bring it together with your amazing writing prowess, which I think is what is the secret to all of this. The writing that you do and the workbooks that you create, I think that's what sets you apart from anybody else that makes kits. So I'm excited for people to experience this and I want them to know how special it is. So
Oh, you're gonna make me cry. Well, I appreciate you and I love you and thank you.
thank you, Abby. Thank you, everybody.